Chandamama Ramayan, Part 44. The news of Akampana's death made Ravana angry. He left the assembly and toured the whole of Lanka reviewing his defences. He also saw the siege of the Vanaras around Lanka. Returning to the assembly, he looked at Prahasta and said, "Breaking the siege of the Vanaras is beyond the power of others. Only I, you, Kumbhakarn, Indrajit, and Nikumbha are capable of it. You go with the army, conquer the Vanaras, and return." Prahasta too was among those who thought it best to make peace by returning Sita to Rama. However, peace did not happen. Therefore, war inevitably ensued. Prahasta was ready even to give up his life for Ravana if war came. He mounted his chariot and set out for the war. Seeing Prahasta coming with great pomp, Rama said to Vibhishan, "Who is that coming? He appears to be a very valiant warrior." Vibhishan said, "He is Prahasta, a hero who knows weapons. 1/3 of Ravana's army is under his control." In the meantime, the Vanara warriors saw Prahasta and made lion-like roars. They stood ready for war holding trees and rocks. Loss of life occurred on both sides in the war. The Rakshasa warriors named Narantaka, Kumbhahanu, Mahanda, and Samunnata killed countless Vanaras and died at the hands of the Vanara warriors named Dvividha, Durmukha, Jambavan, and Tara. Nila faced Prahasta, fought fiercely, was severely wounded, and finally killed Prahasta by crushing his head. With Prahasta gone, the remaining Rakshasas were terrified and fled into Lanka. Rama, Lakshman, Sugriv, and others greatly praised Nila. Hearing the news of Prahasta's death, Ravana felt both grudge and grief. He said to the Rakshasa warriors surrounding him, "If they have killed Prahasta, who could conquer the gods? The Vanaras are no ordinary beings. I can no longer ignore this. I myself will go to war. With my arrows, I will incinerate those Rama and Lakshman and the Vanara army." Ravana mounted his chariot and went out with his army to wage war on the Vanaras. In that army were Ravana's sons, Akampana and Indrajit. Vibhishan told Rama about all of them separately. Rama was surprised to see the splendor of Ravana and the weapons held by his warriors. Ravana said to the Rakshasa warriors who came with him, "You go back and protect the city of Lanka, otherwise, the enemies can easily occupy the deserted Lanka." As Ravana was coming to war, Sugriv resisted him. Sugriv soon fainted due to the arrows shot by Ravana. The burden of protecting the Vanara army fell on Rama. As he was getting ready to face Ravana with his bow, Lakshman said to Rama, "Do you need to be the one to kill this fellow? Let me go." "Go, do the battle carefully," said Rama. This was because Ravana was a great warrior. Before Lakshman could reach Ravana, Hanuman reached the side of Ravana's chariot, raised his right hand and said, "I am going to kill you now with a single blow. Strike me certainly." The fame that a monkey struck Ravana will remain for a long time. "The moment after you strike me, I will take your life," said Ravana. "Do not forget that your son Aksha died from the blow of my hand," said Hanuman. Hearing this word, Ravana struck a blow with his palm on Hanuman's chest. Hanuman was stunned for a moment by that blow and struck a slap with his palm on Ravana's chest. Ravana was shaken by that blow. Ravana recovered a bit and said, "Bravo! Though you are an enemy, your strength is very great. What is the use of my strength? Even after receiving the blow of my hand, you are still alive. Strike a blow again, after that I will send you to Yam with my fist strike," said Hanuman. Ravana became furious and struck Hanuman fiercely in the chest with his fist, and before Hanuman could recover, he went to war with Nila. Hanuman said to Ravana who was fighting with Nila, "Since it is not proper to go against one who is fighting with another, I have let you go this time." Nila fought a very strange war with Ravana. He assumed a minute form and perched on Ravana's banner. Aiming an arrow and hitting him became impossible for Ravana. Rama, Lakshman, and Hanuman were surprised to see Nila. Finally, Ravana struck down Nila with the Agnayastra. However, since the god of fire is the father of Nila, the Agnayastra only struck him down to the ground but did not take his life. Then Lakshman opposed Ravana. In the war that took place between the two, they made each other faint. Finally, Ravana used a Shakti against Lakshman. It was given to him by Brahma. As it hit his chest, Lakshman fainted. Then Ravana came to Lakshman and tried to lift him with his hands, but it was not possible. Meanwhile, Hanuman came and struck Ravana fiercely in the chest with his fist. From that blow, Ravana fell forward on his knees, vomited blood, and fell unconscious on his chariot. Hanuman lifted Lakshman with his hands and brought him to Rama. In a short time, Lakshman regained consciousness. Ravana also regained consciousness. Hanuman said to Rama, "Mount on my back and fight the war with Ravana." Rama sat mounted on the shoulders of Hanuman in that manner. Hanuman took Rama in front of Ravana. Ravana struck Hanuman with fierce arrows. Seeing that, Rama with wrath destroyed Ravana's chariot wheels, horses, flag, and charioteer, and planted a thunderbolt-like arrow in Ravana's chest. As Ravana fell from that blow, he shattered his crown with another arrow and said, "King of Rakshasas, you are tired after fighting a very great war. Therefore, I shall not dispatch you to Yam's abode now. I am permitting you to return to Lanka. Go, take rest, mount a chariot, hold a bow, and come again. Then I will show my power." Ravana, having suffered a blow to his pride and feeling ashamed, returned to Lanka. He was now truly seized with fear of Rama. He convened the Rakshasas and said thus, "I, who am not inferior to Indra, have been defeated by a mere human. I do not know what has happened to all my penance. Brahma told me once that there would be danger to me from humans. Formerly when I was killing the Ikshvaku king named Anaranya, he said that the one who can destroy me completely would be born in his own clan. Formerly I insulted Vedvati and received a curse from her, that Vedvati is this Sita. Whatever Parvati, Nandiswara, Rambha, and Punjakasthala said is coming true today. Keeping the danger in mind, you take more care regarding the destruction of the enemy. Guard the gates and towers carefully. Kumbhakarn is sleeping. Wake him up. While I am suffering various hardships here, he is sleeping happily. Even when making war plans, he was awake. Such a person went to sleep when 9 days were left for the war to begin. Wake him up. He is not one who has been subjected to curses like me. He is one who can easily exterminate the Vanara army and Rama and Lakshman. For me, who has been struck by Rama, it will be courageous if Kumbhakarn wakes up. If Kumbhakarn is not by the side at such a time, what is the use of him being there?" As soon as Ravana said this word, the Rakshasas set out for Kumbhakarn's house. They took sandalwood, flower garlands, and food with them. Kumbhakarn was lying down and sleeping in a house like a huge cave. The breath he released pushed the Rakshasas outside when they tried to enter. With great difficulty, they finally went inside the cave. Kumbhakarn was in a deep sleep with a terrifying form. Different kinds of meats were placed in front of him, rice was poured in heaps, wine and blood were in pots. The Rakshasas made universal efforts to wake him up. All of them shouted loudly together and made terrifying sounds. They beat all over his body with maces and pestles. Far from waking up, Kumbhakarn did not even move. The Rakshasas became furious. They had elephants trample upon Kumbhakarn. Feeling as if some insects were crawling, Kumbhakarn woke up. He sat up and yawned loudly. As soon as he woke up, Kumbhakarn ate meat, drank wine, looked all around, and said to the Rakshasas, "Why did you all come and wake me up? Is all well with Ravana? Some calamity must have befallen, that is why you all hurried and woke me up. Tell me what the matter is." When Kumbhakarn slept, he used to sleep for 3 months, 6 months, and sometimes even 9 months. A minister of Ravana named Yupaksha said to Kumbhakarn, "Kumbhakarn, a fear such as we never had even from the gods has now arisen from humans. Vanaras as big as mountains have besieged Lanka. Enraged because Sita was carried away, Rama has done this work. Some time ago, a Vanara came, burnt Lanka, and killed Akshakumara. Rama spared Ravana, conqueror of all the gods, leaving him with his life alone. That Rama has now done a work that no gods could do." Hearing the news of his brother's defeat, Kumbhakarn, in a surge of wrath, rolling his eyes fiercely, said, "I shall first slay the Vanara army and Rama and Lakshman. Only then I will present myself before Ravana. I will drink the blood of Rama and Lakshman and make the Rakshasas drink the blood of the Vanaras." A Rakshasa prominent named Mahodra joined his hands to Kumbhakarn and said, "Kumbhakarn, you come to Ravana, listen to what he says. Think properly of the good and bad, and after that if you go to war against the enemies, it will be convenient to obtain victory." Kumbhakarn agreed to that and prepared to go to Ravana's house taking all the Rakshasas with him. The Rakshasas went ahead, had an audience with Ravana, and asked, "We have woken up your younger brother Kumbhakarn. What is your command? Should he proceed directly to war or should he come here?" Hearing that Kumbhakarn had woken up, Ravana was happy and said to the Rakshasas, "Bring him here with great respect." They went back to Kumbhakarn and said that Ravana was calling him. Kumbhakarn set out for Ravana's house. The earth trembled as he took steps. The Rakshasas encountered along the way offered him salutations. Seeing him from outside Lanka, the Vanaras were afraid. Some Vanaras began to flee. Rama saw Kumbhakarna and said to Vibhishan, "A warrior in the shape of a mountain is seen wearing a crown in Lanka. Who is he?" Seeing him, our Vanaras are fleeing. "He is Kumbhakarna, the one who conquered Indra and Yam in war. There is no one with such a large body among the Rakshasas. His strength is natural, not one that came from bones," said Vibhishan. Chandamama Ramayan, Part 44, is complete. For now, Swasti.